Warm greetings, everyone. Welcome to today's session of Monday Munching and Musing with Women for Water. This session is conducted with the support of Water Resource Council of Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and in collaboration with W4W Foundation and media partner Counter Group. My name is Anubhav, the National Youth Representative of Community of Wiki Water Resource Council. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Mansi Balbhargav, who is currently holding the position of National President of Wiki Water Resource Council, and she is also the founder director of W4W Foundation. I'm also joined by Vanna Tripathi, National Youth Council member of Wiki Water Resource Council. Welcome, Mansi, and welcome, Vanna.
Thank you. Hi, thank you.
Today, in this session, we are here to listen and know more about welcome to today's session, Preeti. I'll just give a brief bio about you. Ms. Preeti Chauhan is a social entrepreneur by profession, a civil engineer by qualification, an environmentalist at heart, and a zero waste practitioner by passion. Her journey from being a corporate employee to being a social entrepreneur in Ladakh has been an amalgamation of adventure with self-reflection and awakening. As a Naropa Fellow, Preeti worked with stakeholders of Ladakh and understood the waste, tourism, and environmental problem in depth. Later, she founded Little Green World, a social enterprise that is devoted to working toward issues of unethical tourism, sustainable practices, and reducing waste piles in the mountains. Preeti is a research partner of Dr. KP on her National Geographic project, Himalayas to Sea Plastic-Free project. She has joined the Indian Institute of Sustainable Development Sustainable Tourism Campaign team of Ladakh, circular economy initiative of the campaign. Welcome to today's session, Preeti. My first question to you is, how did you decide that you belong to the environment sector? Like, how did you decide that you want to do this switch from being a corporate employee and coming to the environmental sector? And how are you currently engaged with the water sector?
So I actually never thought that I belong to the environmental sector. I was a typical corporate employee and I was very happy with the job and everything that was there. But then in 2015, 16, 17, and to be precise, 2017 was the first time when I did a trek in the Himalayas in Himachal Pradesh. And somewhere I found that urge to go back to the mountains again and again. And while being on the trek, that was a time when I got interest in the environment and the conservation aspect. And because while being on the trek, waste came across again and again, and it seemed as a problem. And then a person who liked going to the mountains and who was interested being visited to these places also saw that there is this pile of waste, and there's this a lot of people are coming and visiting, a lot of things are happening, and at the same time there is a lot of waste that has been generated. So that's when slowly it began, and then I took smaller steps. I interned with an hiking organization. I did a course in sustainable environment management. Then I joined Naropa Fellowship, and then finally I decided that I want to work in this field. And when I wanted to work in this field, then during the fellowship only, I started this Little Green World organization, and with a vision that we want to enable each individual to become a conservationist and a zero waste. Since then, I have been working in the Himalayas. I've been here and sort of finding my path here in the Ladakh region.
Right. Thank you so much, Preeti. So a little about how you are associated with water currently, or are you working on anything related to water? So that would be great.
So being in Ladakh, one of the things that came evidently was the waste. And in that waste, was the mineral water bottle. So, because a lot of tourists visit Ladakh, and as per to a study in 2018, 50,000 plastic bottles were dumped daily during the summer times when the tourists are visiting. And it seemed like, why so much of mineral water bottle? And then I realized it's a big like interlinked problem. And the idea was, I started working on developing a filter, a biosand water filter, which is already developed by uh, some organization based in Canada, and they are also working in India. But this biosand water filter, it works on like microbial activities. It has a layer of microorganism that filters the water, and it requires a specific temperature. And when I started working in Ladakh, so the problem in Ladakh is the winters are very harsh. So how do I maintain that temperature? So I started working on that project, and that's how my journey in water, I would say, started. And that's how I also became part of Wiki Water Resource Council. And uh, it was a difficult task to make that thing work. And I was already working on community engagement and awareness and a lot of things. So I did not really find right partners, and it did not work out that well. So that project went unsuccessful, to be very honest. And then while working on the Nat Geo Explorer project, there were cases. So in that project also, we were doing this, we were making stories of how there are these different organizations in the Himalayan regions. They are working and they are trying their level best. They are trying to find different solutions. And that was also the time where we found a lot of water pollution. So how these organizations are working. So that was like more of telling the stories. Like there are organizations working on the waste, but they are also protecting the water. Then recently, I got on board with the Ganga plastic pollution experience as a researcher, along with many of you. So in that project also, what we are doing is like going and doing water testing or those soil testing, and doing a lot of community engagement and finding what has changed. So this is how I have been, like, though I started my journey in waste, but as we say, everything is interlinked. So water also came on my way, and that's how I've been contributing or becoming a field. Yeah.
Thank you, Preeti. So I would just like to share a small instance. I remember when I was in bachelor's, whenever there was long weekends, we used to travel a lot to Himalayas or like any small treks we used to do. And I remember this incident that there was an old lady who was sitting next to me, and she was like very sad or maybe very angry sort of. She said, दिल्ली वाले हमारे हिमाचल को गंदा कर दें. मतलब उनका ये एकदम वो she was very like to the point, and like that is what everybody, the locals also feels that is how दिल्ली से लोग आ ही रहे हैं, बस घूमने का मतलब है गंदगी फैलाना. So like when you see people of your age traveling to these mountain areas, not doing what you are doing or not thinking the way you are thinking, how does it make you feel? Like how do you uh, like want to convey your message to them? How do you easily talk to these people and tell how you feel about it? Is it like you tell them that this you shouldn't do this, or how does that process of telling people or being around those people make you feel?
First of all, I would like to say this, that uh, no one really wants to do bad. It just कि unintentional होते हैं, unaware होते हैं, and it's the unawareness of people जो generally उनको ignorant बना देते हैं, and they are not mindful of what to do. So just going and blaming them and telling them कि आप गलत कर रहे हो, तो शायद वो in turns it might even turn they will come back with an aggressive response. So there are different ways to deal with it. अगर कोई youth है तो मे बी वी कैन टेल देम, डू यू नो, लाइक हमने एक प्रोजेक्ट, रिसर्च का एक प्रोजेक्ट किया था. सो वी हैड डन रिसर्च ऑफ hotels, homestays, guest houses, how many plastic bottles are the people buying. अगर हम उनको alternate options दे to refill the water, can they use that? So हमें हर चीज पे intervention लाने की जरूरत है. We did the interview of the like survey of the tourist also. Tourist का mindset भी जानना जरूरी है. So it was like all the tourists that we had surveyed, सबने बोला कि we would like to reduce, और अगर हमारे पास option होगा तो हम करेंगे. At least now people are being mindful of throwing the waste in the dustbin. Still there is a question कि वो dustbin के बाद कहाँ जा रहा है, वहां तक नहीं, and वो उनकी priority नहीं होती है. They are coming for that 4 days, 5 days. तो उनके लिए वही है कि I like people, if people are living in the cities, say, any of the metro, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, any city you take, सब एक hectic life जीते हैं, and सबको वो एक break मिलता है, जब वो break मिलता है, they are like, I deserve it. तो I am entitled to do it. Like यहाँ पे तो मुझे freedom मिल रहा है, यहाँ पे भी आप आके लोग टोक रहे हैं. But अगर वो right information and right हर जगह पे अगर notice लगा हुआ है कि now if someone is going to हिमाचल में हर चीज आपको पेपर बैग्स में मिलेगी. So जब वो प्रैक्टिस में हम ज्यादा देखते हैं, I think that it helps. So every time when people are around me, I'll be not buying a plastic bottle, mineral water bottle. I'll be carrying my cup, I'll be carrying glass. I'll be saying no to things. And when people see that, so कहीं ना कहीं वो भी प्रैक्टिस करने की कोशिश करते हैं. And जैसे if I talk about वो जो भी होटल या रेस्टोरेंट जा रहे हैं, हर जगह पे पोस्टर्स लगे हैं. Like we have developed this one poster which is about water footprint, and a water footprint of a tourist in Ladakh and a water footprint of a local Ladakhi. एक अगर लद्दाखी दिन में 25 लीटर पानी इस्तेमाल करता है, वहीं पे एक टूरिस्ट इस्तेमाल करता है. एंड वहां पे हमने डिफरेंस दिखाया कि कौन सी एक्टिविटीज में पानी ज्यादा यूटिलाइज होता है. एंड देन वी आर आल्सो नॉट जस्ट सेइंग कि देखो टूरिस्ट ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, बट देन आल्सो पुटिंग आउट कि कहाँ पे आप कम कर सकते हो. तो आई थिंक कि वो एक इग्नोरेंस है, अवेयरनेस ज्यादा नहीं है. सो देयर आर मल्टीपल वेज टू लाइक हर स्टेज पे वो इंटरवेंशन होना चाहिए, हर स्टेज पे लाइक ऑल्टरनेटिव्स अवेलेबल होने चाहिए. वाटर रिफिल ऑप्शन नहीं अवेलेबल, खरीदेंगे बॉटल. अगर लोगों को ये सेफ्टी, पर्टिकुलरली इन द माउंटेन्स, लोगों को सेफ्टी इश्यूज बहुत है कि पानी हमें सूट नहीं करता है, जबकि वो पानी सबसे बेस्ट होता है. वो बॉटल में हिमालयन स्प्रिंग वाटर लिखा होगा, वो पियेंगे, बट वो डायरेक्टली स्प्रिंग से नहीं पियेंगे बिकॉज दे आर डाउटफुल कि उनसे उनका पेट खराब होगा. सो अगर ये चीजें पहले से क्लियर हो, हर जगह पे फिल्टर्ड वाटर है, इट्स अ सेफ वाटर. यू आर नॉट, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि 4 दिन के ट्रिप पे आए हैं फिर 15 दिन बीमार पड़े हैं. सो ये सारे क्वेश्चंस भी लोगों के दिमाग में होते हैं. एंड आज के दिन में इतने सारे हेल्थ इश्यूज है, सो नो वन इज रेडी टू रिस्क दोज थिंग्स. इवन इन सिटीज पीपल आर लाइक कि पीपल आर लाइक लिटिल कंसर्न कि सीधा टैप वाटर कैसे पिए, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट श्योर कि वो पानी सेफ है कि नहीं. सो इफ वी सेफ वाटर अवेलेबल है तो फिर वो धीरे धीरे एक एक चीजें कम होगी.
Yeah, I think I would agree that the part where you mentioned that when you do something, the people around you also try to, like, I remember when we were on a trip, you never used to like open a new bottle or buy any plastic, you even open a Lay's packet. So it was like we were also mindful around you that Preeti is not doing this. So I think whenever I see also, it reminds me of the fact that, yeah, I should keep these little things in mind. And it's important because people don't see it as a priority that they should do this. More like they think it is a burden that I have to carry this wrapper with me. So that is the most, I think, sad part which needs to be changed. Other than work, I would love to know, how did you convince your parents or your mother that you want to shift to Ladakh and do this work? Like, how did you and this path of shifting to environment, working for the environment? How did you like convince your parents or people around you that you want to do things? And also, how did you convince yourself that, yeah, I can do this?
तो इसमें ऐसी चीज थी ना कि जैसे आपने बताया कि कन्विंसिंग अदर्स, उसके पहले कन्विंसिंग सेल्फ, डू आई रियली वांट टू डू इट. एंड द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट are already working in corporate, when you're already making money and there is a stable money and everything is there, family is with you. So, and but there is a urge to be in the mountains, there is a urge to go. So I took really small steps. 2017 mein, when I realized that I want to do something in this field, so I did not immediately leave my job, or I did not immediately take any rash decisions. I gave myself time. 2017 से 2020 तक, like 19 I joined the fellowship, but till 17 to 20 I gave myself time. Treks पे गई, I did internship with the organization, because picking up waste was something I thought I will be not able to do. So I was like, can I really pick up the waste? If I want to blame others ki you're polluting, you're littering, but can I pick up others waste? So I did that. Then I worked with the communities, I worked with the trekkers, I worked with the local staff, understanding their point of view. So that was something, working with the communities was something which I loved the most, because it seemed, when you are working in a big corporate, you are just playing a small role. But when you are working with the communities in these far-flung areas, and when you are telling them something and when they practice it, it shows that कि आपने जो बोला था ना उसकी अहमियत है, and there is a importance to what you are saying, and they really feel that ki, haan, they can become a part of it. So that was something which really made me think that this is something that I want to do. And then also, it was not that I always wanted to pick up waste, so I made sure I had the skills. I did this sustainable environment management course along with my job. I did not leave my job. I did a part-time course. I used to go to the college on Sunday, Monday to Friday office. And then there was a time that I was like, I need to give more time to myself, and I need to be in the mountains for a longer time, because ab tak jitna rahi thi, that was like maximum 2 months. And that was also the favorable months hai, not in the harsh time. So I wanted to test myself. So that's when this fellowship came across. I came across this fellowship, and wo fellowship mein, since it was a residential course, I was like, okay, I'll get a 1 साल पूरा रहने मिलेगा. और लद्दाख में कि जब आप एक जगह पे बहुत ज्यादा टाइम रहते हो, then you realize छोटी छोटी चीजें. As a tourist, like I visited Ladakh as a tourist first time in 2018. The way I saw it in 2018 and the way I see now, it's completely different. The more time we spend, the more I realize. So yeah, it took my time, and then in 2020 I was like, I want to be here only and I want to work. So I started my work. And coming to the family, जैसे खुद समझ रही थी वैसे उनको भी धीरे धीरे समझा रही थी कि हाँ कुछ ऐसा कर रही हूँ, ऐसी चीज है. So in still my family members, not my mother but my uncles and aunts, they asked me, और तेरा प्रोजेक्ट और कितना चलेगा, वापस कब आएगी? एंड आई एम लाइक, अभी तो मैंने अपना काम शुरू किया है, अभी तो मैं कर रही हूँ. एंड स्टिल मेरे घर वालों को समवेयर दे डोंट कंप्लीटली अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम डूइंग. घर में आई एम द फर्स्ट पर्सन हु हैज लेफ्ट होम एंड हु इज स्टेइंग सो अवे फ्रॉम द फैमिली. बाकी एवरीवन एल्स इन द फैमिली इज इन मुंबई. I'm the only person who has left the house and staying so far and trying to do this thing. And घर पे ज़्यादा इतना बिजनेस वाले लोग या इतने कोई पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, तो इट इज डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू अंडरस्टैंड. अच्छा खुद का एनजीओ है, बच्चों के साथ काम करती है, कुछ कम्युनिटीज के साथ काम करती है, बट दे स्टिल डोंट नो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आई एम डूइंग. सो स्लोली लाइक, सो ये सारी चीजों में आई फील कि पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस करने के लिए लास्ट ईयर आई गॉट कॉल्ड माई फैमिली हियर. काम तो कर रही थी पर यहाँ पे फैमिली को पूरे बुलाया and to show them which is the place I'm working in. कौन से लोग हैं जिनके साथ मैं काम कर रही हूँ. So they also have that trust कि हाँ नहीं हमारी बेटी सेफ है, कि ये ऐसे नहीं. तो मम्मी को हमेशा टेंशन होता है अभी भी कि I was telling her कि yeah most of the people are leaving, कि अक्टूबर में लद्दाख खाली हो जाता है, like the hotels and everything closes down. So she's like you also come. Like नहीं मेरा काम चल रहा है. So वो धीरे I think वो समझाना पड़ता है. And when they visited last year, I think उसके बाद उनका भी एक नहीं, she is working, and fortunately there have been some interviews taken. तो फिर वो जब वो YouTube पे जाके देखते हैं या कहीं और जाके देखते हैं तो फिर उनको पता लगता है कि नहीं बेटी कुछ तो कर रही है. भले पूरा नहीं पता चल रहा है कि क्या कर रही है, बट हाँ कुछ तो कर रही है. जाके शायद बच्चों को पढ़ाती है, कम्युनिटीज के साथ काम करती है, कुछ तो कर रही है.
Yeah, I think.
Can I
Yeah,
just turn off my light? Just give me a
sure.
second.
Yeah. I think it's very important to, like, at the end of the day, the satisfaction that your parents, like, are they happy or not? Like, getting that satisfaction is very important. Okay, my parents are a little bit like sure that yeah, I'm doing something good. So it's like very, like, it gives a lot of satisfaction also. Thank you so much, Preeti, for sharing your journey. It was lovely hearing from you. I would just hand it over to Vanna to take it from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anubhuti. Wonderfully, you have been, flowing the sessions and the questions. And thank you, Preeti, for being so candid in your responses. So while we were, listening to your story of journey into the water sector and how you have started from a minuscule internship to a full-fledged enterprise of your own, that's commendable, and certainly compliments to you for having done that. You very interestingly just in a couple of minutes back mentioned that, family, there is a lot of anxiety about it. So coming to that question itself again, maybe we can just deliberate a little more onto it, because see, most of us here struggle with multiple roles at the same time. So you're married, you have kids to look after, you have household work and everything. So how does Preeti really divide her day? And I'm worried because in Ladakh, I'm told that situations is so harsh. So a lot of responsibilities would be eventually landing upon you only. How do you cater to that? I think Mumbai, we have a lot of functional helps around us. I don't know, how is it in Ladakh? Maybe you can just dwell a couple of minutes on that and quickly respond to us on this.
It is difficult. But one of the things is like, this is something that I chose, and I don't want to work on something that I'll give my 100%, 200%. Yes, in Mumbai, where everything was served on a plate and everything was given to a place where I have to make sure that my health is proper. I don't fall sick. I live alone in a big house. But अगर बीमार पड़ी तो कौन ध्यान रखेगा? So सबसे पहले वो ध्यान रखना है. खाना अच्छे से खुद ही बना के खाना है. Then running an organization, talking to people, helping people, giving them the work. And this was something that I never did. And then traveling. I love traveling. Everything started with travel. So I make sure that when I'm working in my own organization, I make sure I'm traveling. Like, I will gladly say that I'm a little proud of this, that I have traveled most of the Ladakh. I've been to very, very remote places, and it's like, yeah, I don't have money to travel like I had when I was in corporate. I don't have that much of money, but I make sure my work is reaching to all the places in my capacity. And so the travel is something which is tiring, but it is so like satisfactory, and reaching to all these places, it just gives you more and more energy. There are a lot of challenges, like being a new like very small organization. It's like third year of my organization, so much of funds. Then making sure how do I manage money.
Yeah.
So when I actually started the organization, the idea was I had when I left my job, I had money with which I could survive for a 1.5 year. So as 1 year passed by, I still had money for a year or so. But I was like, now I need to start making money. If I don't make money, then it will be not sustainable. At least I'm not looking for big money. I'm looking for money which will at least mera rent cover ho jaye. यहाँ से मुंबई का travel, I want to visit home also at least once or twice in a year. So that should be taken care, and the flight rates are expensive.
Yes.
I don't go out eat a lot because it's expensive. So I make sure I cook whatever money saving tricks would be there. I would adopt that. Like even when we are traveling to different places, what are the ways I can save money? So I think these are the new things I'm learning. There are new skills that I'm developing. Yes, it becomes draining at times, but then yeah, this is something that I chose, and I'll give
Understood.
my 100% to it. Yeah.
Understood. So I think you very rightfully mentioned that we need to have bit of financial planning, and independence is linked to that. It cannot be just, I'm starting work of my own and being responsive enough in terms of managing your expenses and day-to-day affairs while maintaining your interest. So your interest of travel also you continued. Once again, that's very heartening to note. At the same time, because this whole conversation is centered around women in water sector and, professional women from different fields of expertise. So even social enterprise is one of those expertise. But we find very few Preetis in our life. And particularly even under Wiki Council, I mean, all my peers will agree that, I mean, 7 rounds of forms have been circulated and hardly 70 women we have been able to rope into something like this. So a key question which together collectively under Mansa's aegis we are all exploring is that if that is the case, where are these professionals and why there are very few leaders into it? What is your take on that, Preeti? We would like to hear from you.
So I think we are so much binded with the responsibilities, societies, and so many things. Somewhere we are scared to take these decisions. I know there are many women and men out there जो मेरे से भी बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा कर सकते हैं, but उन्होंने से वो choice नहीं बनाया. And on the other side, I made this choice कि नहीं मुझे ये करना है. And if this is the decision I have taken, I'll stick to it. मैं इसके ऊपर इतना जल्दी I'll not like give up on it. And I think this is something that like वो हो जाता है. And since I'm not married, like my family also has questions on that. And I'm like देखेंगे ना होगा तो होगा, but mostly मुझे नहीं लगता है होगा. जिस हिसाब से चीजें चल रही है मुझे नहीं लग रहा है कि होगा. And I'm very happy with how things are going on. So I don't know if I answered you fully or not, but I think everyone is capable. It's just that we are bounded by so many responsibilities. So when I came here, when I was planning to start my things, I made these things very clear in my head कि मैं बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं कमाऊंगी, and I was okay with it.
Yes.
कि I want to stay in this place where it is too harsh. Winters are depressing. Difficult, like पानी नहीं है, पानी carry करना है, all those things. But testing myself, and I think अभी तक मैं वही कर रही हूँ. अभी भी I'm still figuring out कि okay, what do I like, what do I don't like. If I like something, I'll try and figure out उसमें और क्या अच्छा कर सकते हैं. And slowly I've always like crossing down things कि this is something that I don't want to do.
Okay.
So whatever other options are left, I try working on that. Just I never thought like when I was doing my environment management course, so my faculties there told me, Ari, you have such a good engineering degree, civil engineer you are, and now you are doing this course. Why don't you go for PhD? I'm like, I want to work on grounds. Like, no, you can work on ground even with the research thing. But I'm like, nahi, ye thoda alag hai. And they were not in the support ki they were like little confused ki kya hi karna chahti hai, why she is going to Ladakh, she can do good with her degrees and all. And I was like, let me just give it a try.
Yeah.
And now I see that I have been also working as a researcher. So some or the other way, wo cheez bhi ho rahi hai. So I'm also happy with something that my professors told me back then. I did not choose it completely because I thought there are some restrictions with it. And I just wanted to be openly out there and trying to figure out
Sure.
out what things are and how things can be done. So yeah,
Right.
accepting, not accepting things and just going ahead with the flow.
So, what you highlighted is kind of important in terms of one, you make the choice, and two, you stick by the choice. Both these conditions are coming along with these decisions that we are taking on everyday basis. While you are also saying that one has to be determined at the same time, you're also saying one has to be responsive. But eventually, that may help you to have a, let's say, a professional line or certain set of expertise or domain expertise you may develop over a period of time. This leadership is maybe one step further to that, what we are, sort of asking for people right now. Because even within the Wiki group, I mean, you are also part of the same group, so we can be candid enough to share with you that most of us, I would include myself, we look up to Mansi that do something, then we will all chip into you. But how do we really therefore cater to this gap? What do you think? Are we missing out on something? Is there a set of skills, expertise? What do we really need to build? So what can we do so that we have more Mansis amongst us? So Preeti has to suggest
Confidence,
first your
confidence.
prototype, then Mansi.
I think it's the confidence. Like every time I have met
Yeah.
Mansi, I since my work has been not so much in the water field, I'm always like little hesitant. कि मैम इतना नहीं है. Ma'am is like, you go ahead and do it. And I I truly believe in her that yes, we can do something in the water field as well. And yeah, these things uh, need time, commitment,
Okay.
dedication, everything, and the confidence that we can do it. So if I have to say, like in Chandigarh, Ekta ma'am did it.
Yeah.
She didn't have all the skills.
Mhm.
She is not someone who is expert in water, but she had the challenge and willingness to do it. So she was able to do it. So I think if everyone starts building that confidence and everyone starts, and we have a beautiful network which people are not making use of. Again,
Okay.
priorities. Uh, Ma'am,
So
you are on.
Mansi, I think you want to chip in right here. So please do join us in this conversation because I really would like to invite your thoughts and maybe exchange of dialogue between you and Preeti right now.
Thanks, Vandana, and thanks, Anubhuti, for taking this conversation so wonderfully. Honestly, I always love to listen. And Vandana, you are always calling me to have the conversation. Anyway, Preeti, you are a classic example where a leadership can be nurtured and born over time. And one of the important skills which I look at young people like you is resilience. I mean, I see you, in myself like 15 years ago when I was in a very good, cushy kind of environment. And then, yes, we have to do something more, something else. Let's go somewhere and explore in different ways. You mentioned you went to the mountains. Some people go to higher studies and some. And by the way, women have been taking those alternate paths. And that's the beauty of being women in the field. And I'm seeing this comparison both in architecture as well as water. It is either out of inner drive, many a times, and many a times it is out of no options available than to be choosing that alternate path, just stepping aside or taking that alternate path. I would like to know from you if there are more Preeti like people around and they are choosing these alternate paths. What are the ways we can find more of them? What are the ways we can upskill them or work with them? Not literally कि they dose लगा दिया उनको dose तो दे नहीं सकते किसी को कि ये लो गुट्टी leadership की और चलो leadership बन गया. But there has to be some way to find those, emerging leaders and how to collaborate with them so that it is co-learning at the same time. Implicitly, we are, nurturing those skills with them. Do you have any such network? Do you know that these are the ways people like you are looking for some kind of I will say hand-holding, like Wiki Water Resource Council talks about sisterhood. What is your experience in this, apart from Wiki Water Resource Council and otherwise?
So I feel this when I worked on the NatGeo project, we were going to these small places, and I was interviewing people, and I was trying to figure out what they are doing. So once we have like maybe in the wiki group only, and I think this has already been done, but people have not done really, uh, going and finding out more people, the smaller organizations. I know for a fact, not in water, but there are a lot of organization, lot of small organizations working in the region. So if I am in Ladakh, if I am able to make an Excel sheet where all these organizations are working, and the most important thing is, if people start working collaboratively, it will be the most beautiful thing. But I don't know, because of the name, credit, and so many things going on.
So do you agree that there is a lot of insecurity that goes around among the peer group, which is also a deterrent, which I feel, if I reflect upon in my own 30 years of experience, that people take long time to realize that to do good, collaboration is more important than competition, or complementing each other with skills is more important than competition. Do you come across these kind of situations, and do you think that's a big deterrent to really, I will say, expedite the process of women in the sector? Because if we are competing with each other, we are also reducing our possibility of presence and participation in the water sector. I mean, what is your experience on this?
Being such a small organization, I have faced it. And like, I faced it in all 3 years. And on the other side, I'm like, we are all here to work for the same motto, so same vision. We are all working towards conservation. So we should not have that. But somewhere it's like learning your lessons hard ways. Like, first I'm going blindly, I'm trusting people and trying to do it, and then it happens. Person has not done any work and they are trying to take all the credit. And somewhere then I am lost. I'm like, then people are talking about the others and not about like, and again, it's not that I want my name. I did not come here to make my name. I'm so still trying and exploring my like what I want to do and everything. But then understanding, so I'm like, if I find, I'm always open to collaborate. I'm rather trying and finding someone is working on menstruation, someone is working on some other part, how we can connect them. Every time, if it is possible, I will be connected.
That's how I found you, by the way. So
So this is something that I still do, but yeah, like even I feel that women have less tendency to do this, but still there are women who end up
absolutely.
like being insecure or being more competitive, and it's hard to say and hard to explain, or hard to uh, know how we can like remove this gap and make the conservation, the environment conservation aspect is the most priority thing. And I'm still figuring out. I'm like,
I
you
am
do your
also,
work.
by the way. I am also.
I
So
will do my
trust
work.
me, you will
You
be
not.
at the same stage as me after many years. But I think there are certain skills which are required. So, and I would like to hand it over to Vandana to take the questions further, because people like you and many more youth council members and many more who have not joined Wiki Water Resource Council, I really feel that 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, I look at myself, we took more time, and people like you can really reach this, I will say, leading positions or influencing positions in much better way than, I mean, I will say my generation. I mean, I am really learning from it, and I really wish that your generation, even Anubhuti's generation, are much faster in the stage where I am today. So, Vandana, you can put the question much better than me. You are such a good host. Over to you. I'm really
Okay.
keen to learn from the youth what they are looking for from,
Yes.
in terms of skills. Over to you, Vandana. Thank you, Preeti. Thanks a
Thank
lot. I just want to keep it short from my end.
Thanks, Mansi. So, see what Mansi is trying to ask. Maybe let's just put it in another way, Preeti, so that it's easier for us to kind of break down. So, what Preeti has learned years? What had been given to you 3 years back itself so that this 3 years would not have been so much of delay in whatever you wanted to achieve? I'm sure you would have set certain small short level goals, short-term goals, long-term goals. So somewhere down the line, you would have realized in these 3 years that this is the most valuable skill or information that had I got it 3 years back, I would have been much faster in what Mansi was trying to put through. So maybe you can take a moment and think through this. You don't have to immediately respond as a
No,
rigid
I'll first say,
That's fine.
having the short goals, long goals, I have achieved more than thought of.
Very
So, like, I never thought that I was doing this environment. I'm still doing the environment education program, but working on the sustainable alternatives. So this was something that uh, I did not think I'll be able to do, or never in my dream I thought that in just 2 years I'll be able to do it. But I've been
Yeah.
able to do it. So I have been fortunate enough to do that. Coming to the skills aspect, maybe more collaborative works with given task.
okay.
First individual task, then the
Got it.
collaborative task. If individual tasks people are doing correctly, then we can work with them on collaborative tasks, and
Okay.
maybe with that we can understand where the gaps are,
Okay.
and then maybe it can be done.
All right. So just this particular thing that you are saying, can we say that what makes difference between a worker and a leader? What do you think that's that particular things that we can point out that, okay, this distinguishes. I can see this in the next generation and therefore I would like to nurture it. What are two, three things that you probably notice in your team where you want to develop a leader? What is it that you look at?
Especially when I had my team, so in the job was whatever the work I give, they'll be specifically doing that.
Okay.
And when the second year came, I started, it was like, you figure it out, you
Okay.
decide, you make your choice, I trust you.
Okay.
Whatever you decide, I'm okay with that. Just go ahead and do it. Or if you have decided it, then we can sit and we can have discussion. What are my thoughts on it? Whether it is okay, or like whatever you thought, is it perfect or something I can add on it? So this is something that I did, and it
Okay.
really helped. And and also developing skills, like I I personally feel that education is important, and there are
Yeah.
now many courses and other things are available. So if I find something, it's not that if you're working with me, you're not supposed to go and learn something new.
Got
मैं
it.
खुद से opportunities भेजती हूँ. You see, this thing is there. You develop your skills.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So these are the things that I tried.
All right. So you are trying to, I mean, if I understood you correctly, you are trying to say that first give them some instructional based operational guidelines so that they operate in such a way. Then you give them flexibility to come up with their own independent planning and then have a very democratic discussion about it, and also make investments on learning and development in order to nurture the leadership skills. Got it. There is just one more, because it's linked to leadership and because we are all part of the Wiki Council. When you had joined the council, you must have set out certain expectations, right? Of course, working with Mansi is a given takeaway. That we won't let you mention that. But beyond that, what else did you had an expectation, and how do you think we can make this council more active and more proactive, if I were to put it that way? More proactive. How do we lead that?
So I personally feel is cluster division and cluster wise work. And at
Okay.
least cluster wise, if there's a like in the one education program I'm working here, so we are making charters. So at least आसपास के लोग जो है वो अपनी problems discuss करें, या वो अपने solutions या अपने experience जो है वो discussions करें. Maybe for me to go and discuss something someone who is in Chennai would be difficult. वो थोड़ा पता नहीं है, but at least if we are close by, then we can visit also. And whatever work we are doing, we should try and visit. So I'll tell you, when I visited Navjyoti India Foundation during that 2 days workshop, it really changed a lot of things for me. Otherwise, it's happening. I'm joining, and I see there is amazing work that people are doing, but then I'm still a little confused. कैसे collaborate करूँ? क्या कर सकते हैं साथ में? And particularly for me, who is sitting so far away, I'm like, how do I call people here? कि क्या कर सकते हैं साथ में? That was a difficult part. But when I was there in that 2 days workshop, I was able to interact with everyone, and there were a lot of things came up, and things like after that only there are organizations which with whom I got connected, and like at least now I'm aware that there is this person working in Hyderabad who works in the water testing related thing.
Yes.
So if I have something, I can go and speak with that ma'am. And
Yes.
if I was just seeing them online, it would be difficult. But when I met them, I know how they are in person. And there's this always this hesitance, like, can not everyone is everyone has the same confidence level to go and speak with people.
Sure.
So I think that is also something कि if we make clusters and वो एक दूसरे के साथ काम करना शुरू करें, and फिर if they start putting up the work, then other clusters will be also, and this is also something that I do with my teachers. सारे पहले I had this lay teachers group different, Kargil teachers group different, Zanskar teachers group different. Now I have everyone in the same group. एक रीजन का काम देख के दूसरे वाले भी हम पीछे नहीं है. So
Got it. So, I mean, you are rightfully mentioning this, that maybe we break up ourselves into smaller clusters and try to nurture, small groups, because this personal interaction and in-person interaction is a lot more value addition compared to the online transactional interaction, perhaps, that we are facing, or perhaps over WhatsApp also. I think that was my side. Anubhuti, I would like to rope you in to perhaps take the last moment of the questions and close the conversation there. Yeah. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it, Preeti. Yeah. Over to you, Anubhuti.
Thank you so much, Vanna, for asking those wonderful questions. I really enjoyed both of your conversation, and literally knowing more about how Preeti works with people, how her journey has been really good to know, because I have stayed with her for a really long time, but it was more of a fun part that we used to discuss or talk about. So knowing more about her work was really nice. Thank you, Preeti, for taking up time today to know a little bit. So my last question to you is, any message that you would like to share with the youth who are stepping into the water sector, or even stepping into the environment sector? Any message that you would like to tell them, even to the women, if you want to say anything?
I would just say that become part of any event, any workshop, during opportunity that will be there out there. Because again, when we are meeting at these events or workshop volunteering, even if it is a simple cleanup drive for that matter, we get to interact with people, we get to learn from people, and somewhere like I'm going back to my journey. When I in 2017, when I did my first, and I did it a solo trek, like went alone from Mumbai and then joined a group where I did not know anyone. But in that trek, I realized that I'm actually capable. I can do things. That was a learning for me. And then when I came back from that trek, I was reading something and I came across this Feeding India website, or something on Quora, and I thought I should volunteer, and I decided to volunteer for 2 hours in a week, the least time, least commitment. And within 3 months time, I was leading the South Mumbai region group. So that was all like, when I got on board with them, I started going out. I started interacting with people. I started knowing what are the problems. That's how I came to know about like Goonj. What is Goonj doing? How we can support them. And I think there are enough resources available. We need to connect, and that connection is important. And that connection will happen once we go and join these groups. Even if it is for volunteering, then volunteering. But if we go and meet people in person, I think it changed the game completely, and it helps in a lot of way. We learn more about ourselves, we learn more about others, and we can help in a lot of ways. Yeah.
I think to put in say just go out of your comfort zone and like try out things. Preeti, we always talk about engendering the water sector. So, how do you think we, the coming people who are stepping, the youth who are stepping into the sector, how can we engender the sector?
First, being be aware about how much water we are using. I think we should just start with that. And when I say ki how much water we are using, not just ki kitna and peene ke liye kitna and all that, but everything that we own, how much water is been taken in that. Once we realize our water footprint, then slowly we'll start understanding ki, okay, this is uh, like if someone is using leather, then we will learn about leather, like how the leather processing happens and how water polluting it is. So so starting with ourselves, giving the answer correctly or not, but I feel if we start with our own self, and if we start looking at our own practices, then it will help, and then slowly going out and finding out ways. Because once we start observing thing, I think observation is the most important thing. We are ignorant. If we start observing, everything that we use needs natural resources, be it water, be it any other natural resource. So if we really help. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Preeti, for the wonderful session. I would just like to wind up here. Mansi ma'am, would you like to say anything, or should I just wind up the session?
For me, these conversations are like flowing water. I will be very honest on this. I just enjoy listening to everybody. And I hope, Preeti, you also enjoyed this conversation. And Anubhuti, please do the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi ma'am. I think it's I be like water and I am water. May you remain, thank you, Preeti, for the session. May you remain an inspiration to others. We are so grateful to have learned about your journey from corporate to Ladakh. And please keep us posted with all the activities that you are doing. We shall continue with our Monday Munching with Women for Water every Monday at 5 p.m. Look forward to learning more from more women in the water sector. You may please follow us on our social media platform for regular updates. So for now, thank you so much. Please take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Preeti. I hope you will become an inspiration for many, many more youngsters. Huh? Good. Keep up the good work. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And I'm always there with you. Just remember that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. क्या है अपना